Hey everyone, it's Thursday night here in Hanover. It's a little bit past 6:30. We'll give it just a couple more seconds for some people to pop on. As you can see, I'm not in my normal studio. I know the lighting is not the best and my hair is doing some crazy things. I'm a little late tonight. My husband had to have outpatient surgery today. Hey Diane, he had outpatient surgery today and he's doing fine. But it just kind of backed me up. Lily was in the store today. So I'm sorry I'm a little late. It took me a little while to get things set up down here. Tonight, I'm going to show you, this is a dresser that I have finished painting in a color called Deep Sea by Dixie Belle. It's in their silk line. And it's a gorgeous navy color. And I love this paint. It has a blocker in it. It has a built-in top coat. It's truly amazing. As you pop on, if you wouldn't mind letting me know where you're watching me from, if you have any questions, just ask away. I am here by myself, so I'll have to go back and see your questions. I do see that Tish is on. Hey Tish, and Diane. Tonight, I've already painted these two drawers. I'm going to paint the top two drawers with you in silk. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the feet on this. I don't know if you can see it. Let me pull you, and I don't have my wheels for my tripod. I just have my tripod. Like I said, I'm home tonight in my basement. My husband is recovering from outpatient surgery, so I wanted to be here. The feet on this, they're the typical lion claw feet. I'm going to do in golden gem mousse, or the gemstone mousse in golden gem. And I'm going to do a stencil on the drawers, kind of outlining where the hardware is going to be, and I'll probably put a little bit in the middle as well. We're going to use our reusable stencil. This is the Moroccan stencil. We're going to use this on here, and I have to be careful because I've sprayed it so it's nice and sticky. I don't want to get it on the top. So we'll do a little bit of this evening. Maybe the mousse, I'm not quite sure, but then at 8 o'clock I'll be on the Dixie Belle channel and you can catch me on there doing all the stenciling. So I'm going to tilt you down so you can see my drawers. These, the top two, I have not finished painting yet. These drawers were, this set is a major bleeder. And I prepped it. Cleaned it really good. I had to sand it down. There were several layers of paint on it. Crazy layers of paint. So I sanded it to get rid of those layers. And as you can see, I don't know, when we pull it up you can see, it's like mahogany. It is a humongous bleeder. So I didn't boss it first. I wanted to see how the silk would hold up to a humongous bleeder. I painted it in Endless Shore, which is kind of an off-white color. And the bleed through was crazy. So your silk paint equals, this is the paint right here, equals about 1 coat of our Boss, which is our blocker. And odor blocker and bleed through. It only really counts as about 1 coat. So if I were to do this over and I wanted to do it in a lighter color, I definitely would have bossed it first, so it would almost be like having 2 or 3 coats down. But I decided to go with the navy, and which is Deep Sea. It's kind of like a navy blue, which of course my husband loves, being that he was in the Navy. And it really, there's not hardly any bleed through. You can see there's 1 or 2 spots where you can, if you knew where the bleed through was, you could definitely still see it. But I'm going to go over those areas with 1 more coat of paint, and that should be good to go. So here are my drawers. Let me move this over. Here are my drawers. This is my drawer. Hey Joanne. We're going to paint this drawer. I'm going to put it down here so you can see. And again, I prepped it by cleaning it, I sanded it, and then I cleaned it again. There were probably, oh gosh, I'm going to say 4 coats of paint on this. The top had 4 coats of paint on top of a huge stain, a red cherry mahogany, really deep stain, and it was just a mess. So the silk, you want to make sure that you do nice long strokes. Like, you can go through and go like this on the edges, which a lot of times I'll do on my drawers, but then you do want to go back over it with a nice smooth stroke. And then I do go back and cross hatch over top of it when I'm trying to get no brush strokes. And then I'll do one last short pass. Okay, and then here, I'm gonna back you guys up just a little bit. Hang on. Sorry guys, it's not fun when I don't have the wheels for my tripod. There's a couple of key points to remember with the silk. You wanna load more on your brush at one time. Like, I usually do not use this much paint with the mineral chalk paint. But with silk, you want to really load it on because you cannot add water to it. You can add water if you choose to. However, by adding water, you're breaking down those properties that Dixie Belle put in there to do the blocking and the top coat. So if you then turn around and use water to lay your paint, you're breaking up the blocker, you're breaking up the top coat. So it's best not to use water. But you do have to move somewhat quickly. The paint does dry quick. But if you're just careful, you should be good to go. Now again, I went cross-hatched. Now I'm going to come back in my original direction. It is a self-leveling paint, but you want to try and leave as least amount of brush strokes as possible. Let me get this end down here. The line comes in 20 different colors. Look how pretty that is. And when you first put it down, when you're done with that coat, it'll look like there are brush strokes, but I can already see where it has leveled out. Look how gorgeous that is. Now it's nice and shiny because it's wet. You normally don't have that big shine. Hey Victoria, thanks for joining. Remember folks, let me know where you're watching us from, and if you have any questions, go ahead and pop them in the comments and I'll be sure to answer them. We're working on an old Empire. This dresser is very old, major bleeder. Crazy bleeder. It was a crazy bleeder. The water was pretty bad. I had another bleeder that was really bad that I was working on in the store. That one, the water was 100 times worse. It looked like dark chocolate. It was gross. It could have been like a really strong cup of coffee. But that one, I did put Grade Boss down first because I knew I was painting it Endless Shore, which is like an off-white, kind of like drop cloth. I tend to do my tops of my drawers and the sides, and then I do the fronts. Just a little bit. All of this is left over from the previous paint job. Because it's dovetailed and they're not even, you know, it's old, so it's not totally flush. I'm not messing with trying to sand that out. I think I'll make it look worse than if I were just to leave it the way it is. Alrighty, so we're just gonna run this over. Again, you want to load up a little bit more paint than you normally would. That's a good bit of paint. I usually would not use that much in the chalk mineral paint line, again, because you can't add water to it. You want to get enough that you can move it, but not too much that it gets cloppy on you. Okay, so we're gonna go opposite direction. I learned this neat little trick from Cristana with Bella Renovare. If you've never checked her out, she's one of the Dixie Belle brand ambassadors, and she does amazing work. Gorgeous work. All our brand ambassadors are phenomenal. They're great with answering any questions you might have. Just need to touch that up a little bit. So there we have that. See, there's no brush strokes. no brush strokes. It just levels so nice out. I just love it. All right, so we did that. Now I'm gonna actually put my brush in water. This paint dries quicker than the chalk mineral paint, and I have actually decided to dedicate two of my brushes to just silk. So I'm just gonna do, I'll show you. I have it in water since I'm not gonna be able to clean it right away, and I'm just kind of pushing it down in there. And you remember how dark that was, the paint was? Look, it's almost completely gone. It comes off your paintbrush beautifully. I love it. Okay, let me move that out of the way. So I think I'm gonna bring you guys down a little bit. Let me tilt this up. Let's see. Hey, Cheryl. I'm gonna, just bear with me. I'm gonna bring you guys down a little bit on the stand so that you're not so looking down. I'm gonna just bring you down on my stand. There we go. And then let me bring you closer. I'm gonna show you the feet on this bad boy. Look how cute the feet are. Aren't those adorable? So I have the golden gemstone mousse. This is what it looks like. Now, you may hear some misinformation going around about how it doesn't dry, it wears off, after days and days it's not dry. I have not had, let me lift you guys up for a second. I have not had any problems whatsoever. So, the first thing is, the directions do say to shake it. Don't shake it. You need to stir it, and they are actually changing those directions. I have been using this mousse since probably end of October, beginning of November. I was part of a beta group with Dixie Belle, and we were given samples to try, and I have been using this on several different pieces, and I have had no problems whatsoever with the mousse at all. Not at all. So a couple of key things is to make sure that you stir it, you don't mix it. Do you see how, hang on a second. Do you see how thick this is? It is super thick. It is a water-based product, so you can add water to it if you would like. You most certainly can add water to it. However, the other colors aren't quite as thick, and the reason why this one is thicker is because of the pigmentations in it. It's just the way it works. The pigmentations are a heavier pigmentation, so the whole thing is just a little thicker. If you keep the jar, the lid open a good bit, then it is gonna thicken up on you, okay? So you can water that down with just a little water and make it a little bit thinner. Another thing you can do is it's highly pigmented, so less is so much more. You do not need a ton of the product on a brush. It goes a very long way, and it's highly pigmented, so a little dab will do ya. What's that silly old commercial? I guess I'm aging myself. It was some hair gel, and it was like a little dab will do ya. I can't remember what it was. So there's that. If you do not need to seal this mousse. It does not need a sealer. It's self-sealing. So you don't need to seal it. If you truly want to, and you're concerned about it, you can take your gemstone mousse and put a little bit in a cup and add a little bit of the high gloss top coat. Stir it in and use that. And it's dry to the touch with that top coat in it within 30 minutes. You really should wait about 24 hours before you do anything else with it, but it does dry super fast. All right, so I'm gonna tilt you down and we're gonna glam out these feet. So all I'm using is my gemstone mousse and just a simple little craft brush. And I'm going to put the mousse over the feet. And like I I have very little, I don't know if you can see that, but I have very little on here. And I am just not, I'm not putting a lot on. And we're gonna, this whole area is gonna be covered, and then I'm gonna kind of like feather it up like it was wearing out, if that makes sense. And I'm just poking it and making sure I'm getting in all his little holes on his feet. I still have not added any more mousse to my brush. And I'm just gently going back over it, making sure that I haven't put too much down. I'm gonna come up here, making sure I'm getting it as his foot turns up. You don't have to go in the same direction with this. You can go back and forth. I'm kind of pouncing it to make sure I'm getting it in all the crevices, and then I will go back over it just to make sure that I'm giving it a nice smooth finish. And I am going to add a little bit. What do you guys think of that gold? How gorgeous is that? Again, I have very little on my brush. Can you see that? Very little. We're gonna put some here. I'm gonna kind of spread it around. Get in this crease right here. So I don't know about you guys. Where are you guys? I don't know if you're in the Northeast, but we didn't get a ton of snow here. We got, I guess it was about maybe 14 inches, 12 or 14 inches. We're up on a tall hill here in Hanover, where I came from, where I grew up, but I would almost consider this a bit of a mountain. But we got, I guess, about 14 inches here total. I have a friend that lives out in near the PA New Jersey line. She said she got 3 feet of snow. How crazy is that? I'm glad she got it and I didn't. So now I'm just kind of giving wisp. I know you can't see this area. Let me move over this way. All right, I'm gonna shift you guys around this way so you can see the side. Let me back you up a little bit. Sorry, I don't have my rolly wheels for the tripod. I'm just making sure I'm getting it all in here. And you know what? I really can't see this way. Hang on, I'm gonna back you guys up so I can wheel around. It'd be so much easier if I had the wheels for my tripod. Hang on, folks. Sorry, I'll be back in the store in my lives. I was here Monday night because of the snowstorm. And then I'm here tonight because, like I said, my husband had outpatient surgery and I didn't want to leave him here at the house by himself. So I'm here at the house to make sure if he needs anything, he knows I'm here and I can help. Nothing major, just, you know, silly stuff you have to get taken care of. Have any of you tried the gemstone mousse yet? Let me bring you around this way so you can see it a little on the side here. I love this mousse. It comes in gold, amber, copper, and garnet, which is red. They are working on a black. I think it's going to be called onyx. They are working on a black. And they are trying to get a turquoise. But the pigments just aren't working the way that they like it. So it's not, the turquoise is not going to be out anytime soon. This was an oops. They discovered it while they were trying to change the formulation of the gilding wax, because our gilding wax has been reformulated. So they were trying to change that formulation, and they discovered this. And although it won't work as the gilding wax, it definitely works this way and is super cool. Okay, so let's see. I'm just gonna gently wisp my way up because there's no real place to stop since the leg goes all the way up and just continues going up. And I don't think I want to do the whole thing in gemstone mousse. So I'm just kind of wisping up with the edge of my brush so it doesn't have a defined edge. And I need to get it even with this side. And these feet are lovely to do. They're nice and easy to do because they're on wheels. So let's see, can you see how adorable these feet are? Look at that, how cute is that? Oh my gosh, I love it. All right, let's wheel around and we're gonna go, hang on, we're going for a field trip. I'm gonna see what it looks like on this side. Yep, I need to bring this side up a little bit. And I want it to look like it's almost like wearing off. I might even take a stencil brush, which is this right here, and kind of wisp it some. I don't know. Let's see. Let's just go ahead and do that and see what happens. Yeah, that works. Okay, so he has nice, cute little golden feet. We're going to go over and do this other foot here. Here's the other foot. And we're going to start on the inside. We're going to start on the inside. And I'm just, like I said, I'm not putting a ton on there. There is not a lot on there. So, and I'm just starting at the bottom and pulling it up. If I were to clump this stuff all over it, it is not going to like it. It's going to be way too heavy and it will try and wipe back on me. So you just need to make sure you are not overworking your product. You're not using too much of your product. This stuff will go a very long way. So, you know, you don't want to use tons of it so that you can use it on other projects. So I've done that little bit that I had. I did that whole side, and now I'm going around to the front. Now I'm going around the front. Can you guys see that okay? Going to put a little bit more on, just a tad. And I'm just going to make sure I'm getting it in all the little holes, crevices, around his feet. He's got lots of little edges, and I might even go over his claws. I might go over his claws with the black gilding wax with a fine artist brush. That would be cool, I think. I think that'd be pretty neat. So I'm still just going off that little bit as I'm going around here. I have not added any more other than the second time. And I'm still having really excellent coverage. Can't see any of that blue through it. Not at all. And we're going to go around the other side. Hang tight. There we go. Going to add just a little bit more. Again, I just have the tiniest bit on here. I'm going to get this side here. I'd show you my basement here, but holy cow, I have lots of furniture down here. Some of it, you know, when you first start finishing furniture, you just grab what you can. And over time, I have found that there are certain things that I just don't want to work on. Certain styles, certain pieces that, like, I try to find my pieces now that don't require a ton of work, structural work, because I just feel like it adds to the price and it adds to the time that it takes. So I really try to find my pieces that are mostly intact and in good working order. You know, fixing a drawer so that, like, if it doesn't have a drawer stop, that's not a major deal. That's easy to fix. My husband can fix that. And then, but having to totally rework a drawer, I just, between working in my shop and down here, I just don't have time for that. All right. This looks gorgeous. Total coverage. I'm going to pop the camera off so you guys can see this. Hang tight. I'm going to pop you off. Look at that foot. How gorgeous is that foot? And that was minimal amount. Let's look at the other one. A minimal amount of gemstone mousse. Now, I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to touch it. I'll probably go back and do the back side. I haven't done the back side yet. We'll not mess with this. We'll let it nice and dry. And we will be good to go. All right, let me put you back in here, and then I'm going to show you what we're going to do with the stencil. Now, you can stencil with the gemstone mousse. I prefer to use the strong. Okay, so we're going to pop that out, and I'm thinking I'm going to keep it. Here's where my drawer pull is going to be, and I'm purchasing new drawer pulls because they're knobs. The knobs that were on here, I do not believe were the original knobs, and they're really tacky looking. So I'm going to put this right on the edge, and I thought I would just take it and go around like that with my gilding wax. I think that will be gorgeous. So let me pull this drawer out. Whoa. And I'm going to have to reposition you down so you can see this. I think I'm going to bring you over here. Let me pop this back a little bit. There, now you can see it good. All right. So let me put the lid on my mousse. I'm going to grab a stencil brush out of here. You can get the stencil brushes at Hobby Lobby. This one is from Redesign with Prima, just because I had them when I was when I sold Redesign. I usually, because they're natural fibers and they can fall out, I usually just kind of mush it around a little bit and pull at it, just trying to get any of those fibers out of there. Okay, now we're gonna take this and we're gonna lay it down, and I'm gonna get it right to the edge. Make sure it's right on the edge, and then I'm just gonna kind of push it down. It should stick. Okay, then we're gonna take, now your gilding waxes come in another container. Again, I was part of a beta group and we were trying out the gilding waxes as well. Look how gorgeous that is. So our samples came in these little tins. Now the container is about twice as big as this. It's 2.5 milliliters. So I'm gonna take my stencil brush and I'm gonna get some of the gilding wax on here. I'm not getting a ton. There is not a ton on there. Hey Mimi, just hopping on. I'm sorry, I can't see your comment. I will look later. And then what I do when I do the stenciling is I do it in circular motion. So I'm gonna just kind of go like this. in circular motions. Let me see. You really can't see that very well. Let me see if I put you up a little higher. Hang on. Hang on, guys. I apologize. This is what happens when I try to do stuff without all my normal equipment here at home. Okay, let's see if I move. There, that might be a little bit better. Okay, so I'm going to get the gilding wax on my stencil, and I'm just kind of going around in circular motions, making sure that I'm getting coverage everywhere that I want it. Yeah. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that. How well can you guys see that? Can somebody let me know? I'll try and see the comment. Let's see. Give me a thumbs up if you can see it. If you can't, give me a happy or laughing face. All I'm really doing is I've put the adhesive on the stencil. I've pushed it down. And now I'm just rubbing on the gilding wax. When you're done, in order to clean this, you can, oil removes oil. So I would not use mineral spirits on here. You can. I would prefer not to use mineral spirits on it. What I would do is use maybe olive oil to help remove it off. And I'm trying to be really careful. I'm actually going to use another, actually I'm just going to use my finger. I'm trying to be careful and only getting the gilding wax in certain areas here where my border is going to be. I want it to stop certain places. I'm just kind of outlining the drawer, and I don't want to get into where my hardware is going to be. So I'm trying to be careful how I am doing that, where I'm starting and stopping with my gilding wax in these areas. Trying to make a definitive stopping space so it looks uniform. Okay, we did that. We're going to come across here, and we're going to come down across the edge here. And then I'm going to come out to about the same area as I did up top, depending on where my stencil needs to stop. And just continue it all the way around. This is so much fun, and I did it on that Bombay piece that had the steer skull on the front of it by Grace on Design. I got to tell you, that piece was gorgeous. I was not sure how I was going to like it because I used the trendy colors of yellow and gray, and I was like, oh boy. But it had such a pretty, it was lemonade and dried sage, and it was so pretty. It sold before I was even finished. Somebody was in the store for a workshop, and she bought it before I had even finished it. That's the kind of sale I like. I know exactly what they wanted. She said, I asked her a couple ideas of the hardware, and she said what she liked, and we went with that. And I'm looking at it. I need to come out just a hair here. And then we're going to take this off in just a second. I'm just about done. So you can see what it looks like. All right, are we ready? Just need to make sure I have enough stuff got a little hair that's loose from my brush. Looks good. Okay, let me put this down. Let me put my lid on my gilding wax. Just gonna lift it up. Let me lay this up here, and then I will show you what it looks like. When you're doing this, you want to make sure that your piece is good and sealed. Look how gorgeous that is. Oh my goodness, I love it. I might actually continue it across the top. What do you think? Should I continue it just a little bit all the way across both tops? Ooh, I don't know. I'll have to do the other side and see. What time is it? Do we have time to do the other side? Oh, I'm running late. What do you think? Let me know if you think I should continue it all the way across to the other side. I'm definitely going to do the other side of the drawer like this. Maybe I'll do that first, and I'll post a picture and say, hey, should I do it all the way across? There are 2 drawers. There's another drawer and then 2 smaller drawers up front, the ones that I had already painted. So I'm not quite sure how much gold I want to do, and the hardware is going to be gold as well. Maybe I should do the hardware in a different color. We'll see. Anyway, I love this, and you can add such a pretty little look with that, with just that, and that's it. Now, there are certain areas in here, let me lift this up, where I did get some of the gilding wax. That is easily fixable because I've already sealed my piece. I'm going to get a cloth with just a tiny bit of easy peasy spray wax and try and wax that off. But I kind of like how it's faded out like that. So we shall see. Now, gilding wax does not need to be sealed, so I will not seal this. I will just let this be, let it cure for about 2 days, and then we'll be good to go. Alrighty, so let me lift you guys up. I appreciate you watching me tonight. Sorry it's been kind of crazy. Like I said, I'm coming from my basement. My husband had outpatient surgery today, so I needed to be here with him. If you see anything you like, shoot me a message if you have any questions. You can always pop in the store to get any of the products that you like. We have that amazing stencil. We have a... I think it's a herringbone. I can't remember the name of it. I always draw a blank. And then we have a damask right here. This is gorgeous too. Look how pretty that is. I almost went with this one. But since I was going on the front of the drawer and there's a funky lip in here, I wanted to just go kind of around the drawer instead of down on a side, and this is kind of big. So anyway, you folks have a great night. I appreciate you watching. If you think this is something that a friend of yours would enjoy to watch, please share it away. I always appreciate that. If you're in Hanover, pop in and say hi to us. If you're looking for Dixie Belle products, please check with your local retailer. If you don't have one, please go to our website and order anything there you'd like, and I can get it shipped out to you. Have a great night and stay warm.